Hey everybody, it is the Night Walker. This is the first of what might end up being many podcasts, so I'd like to welcome you here. For those of you who may not know what the Night Walkers is, basically a couple of years ago I got a little bit bored at night because I work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and there isn't a whole lot for us to do. So I started a little Facebook page called the Night Walkers International. And from day one, we started getting a couple likes here and there, and before I knew it, we were up to 18,000 people. We pretty much post 24/7, anything from entertainment to things that might help you along with night shift. We might give you some tips. We might just give you something to keep you busy. Just whatever we can do to try to get those hours to go by. One thing anybody knows that has worked night shift for any amount of time is the fact that it is not just like day shift. You're not just working the same hours as anybody else and it's going the same way. No. Every night that you work, it takes up 2 days at least of your life. The night before, you can't go to bed until like 3, 4 in the morning, and then you gotta sleep all day. You might get a couple hours with your family for dinner time or whatnot, but generally, your life is work. So if you work 3, 4 days in a row, that's what you're doing. You're sleeping and working. That's about it. Now, some people might think that night shift has it easy. For some reason, they get this idea that it's fun and games and we break out pillows and we just go to sleep all night long. That's a bit of a little misconception. Actually, what it is slaving over a coffee pot, hoping that the clock will go a little bit faster. Most of us have a nice little addiction to caffeine, maybe through soda or coffee. And where's my coffee? Ah, I got my coffee. All right. But, even that's not the healthiest thing for us. I mean, as being night walkers, we're inherently facing some complications. You're tired if you have one of those jobs where you actually go and drive around all night long. That dotted line in the middle just starts to fade into one solid line, and it's a pretty bad spot to be in. But there are ways around this kind of stuff, and it's not a matter of just getting on the night shift and setting your alarm clock, going to work and going home. It's not that easy. You really do have to schedule your life. I mean, most of us realize that your social life goes out the window, and that happens relatively quickly because instead of going out at 7, 8 o'clock to see a movie with friends, instead you're at work. Now, granted, we do have some benefits, and when we're sleeping during the daytime, we get the benefit of hearing everybody else out and about, keeping us awake. That's always a joy of working nights. Myself, I have a nice little business right next to me that likes to drive their Mack trucks and their big front end loaders and everything right as I'm trying to fall asleep. It's not exactly what I would call heaven. Heaven to me would actually be a giant cup of coffee in my bed, but you do what you can. So again, as working night shift, there's several complications, and some people just don't understand how hard it can be. Family functions, what time do you normally schedule them for? 4, 5, 6 o'clock? Come on, that's when we're getting ready for work. We might be able to have dinner with you if you set it early enough, but past that, we're just booking out and we're heading over to work. Now, when we get into work, this is one of my favorite things. Night shift is slower, so we need you to do this, we need you to do that, and we end up with 14 other job duties that day shift people don't have to deal with. For some reason, people seem to think that we empty out trash better than anybody else, that we can scrub walls and do all these ridiculous tasks, when really all we want to do is our job. Same job you do, we want to do. We don't have that opportunity. I will say we do have one benefit: supervision is minimal. Nobody wants to have brass just dangling over their shoulder, waiting to see you mess up and making every decision for you. In night shift, there's a benefit. If we need to go to the bathroom, you can get up and go to the bathroom. You don't actually have to raise your hand like you're in school and say, Mother, may I? We also have a couple other benefits. Night shift, we understand each other. Everybody that works day shift, yeah, you work day shift. Okay, you go into work, you do your job, you go home. You might not develop that same connection that we do. As night shifters, we understand that 3 a.m. in the morning, you're going to get a little bit whacked out. You're going to lose your mind a little bit. Things that aren't funny are going to become funny. All of a sudden, basically, you become like employees on PCP. But if the walls are melting, that might not be a great thing either. Well, actually, it might keep you awake. But essentially, we do what we can. You schedule your meals right. There's ways that you can actually adjust your life to get used to the night shift a little bit better. And the most important thing is you have to have a steady sleep schedule. You can't just catch an hour here and there. It doesn't work. You can do that a day or two, but by the time you're done, you're beat. You have to, just like anybody that works day shift, oh, I have to be in bed by 10 because I got to get up at 4 a.m. to go to work. That's just insanity. So, but for us, you get done at 7 o'clock, you might get home by 7:15, 7:30. Some of you might have that longer drive, which God bless you, because when you're driving that tired and the sun is in that nice little position and you can't see anything, you might as well be running through freaking the street with and just dodging cars without a car around you because it becomes that dangerous. You get sun blind, you're tired, people drive like idiots, but you get home, you need to unwind from that stressful drive home with a big bright sun in your eye, and you gotta relax. The best way to do that is get in your room and make that thing dark. All right, everybody that works nights knows if the sun is shining in your face, you're not going to fall asleep. So there's many suggestions on how to handle that. Personally, I use blackout curtains and then I throw some big blankets or towels over top of that just to make it dark. It might not be in a very attractive setup in the room, but you know what? It works. So you want to stop that sun from coming in. If you have people that are home, you got to get them to understand, look, don't bother me. If the house is burning down, put it out. If you can't put it out, go ahead and get me and I'll wake up. It's an unfortunate fact. Someone is going to call you 20 minutes after you fall asleep. Now, you can put your phone on vibrate, you can shut it off. I'm not that kind of person. I feel, I have kids. I gotta hear if the school's calling or something like that. So I keep it on ring, and I can do that famous screening. Oh, I don't want to talk to you and hit the FU button. But if not, you pick it up. And if anybody has ever tried to call me, they would understand when I'm sleeping because from what I'm told, I make no sense. It's completely an illogical conversation. So they've gotten to the point to where they know they can text me. If it's not important, I'll get back to them when I wake up. Let them know that. Let your family know that. Because if you're just drifting off to sleep and you have a family member that doesn't work and they want to call you up at 11 o'clock to see if you want to go out for lunch, you're going to want to throw your phone across the room. Instead, let everybody know, look, I go to sleep, I'm sleeping between 8 in the morning till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And stick to it. Yes, we're not going to always be able to stick to it because God forbid you have the doctor's appointments and they can't be open at 7 or 8 o'clock at night to fit your schedule. They've got to be open during the daytime. You might have to go to the bank. You might have to do grocery shopping. All these things, if you can't do it on your day off, it's going to get in the way of your sleep. Your employers, oh, we're going to have to start teaching our employers. There's nothing stopping you from telling them, hey, look, that 10 o'clock meeting is in the middle of when I'm sleeping. So unless you want to come in at 1 in the morning to teach me whatever you want to teach me, may it be paperwork or some new policy you're putting down into effect, let's do it at a reasonable hour. Most night shifters will tell you, I'm awake between 2 to 3 in the afternoon. Some people actually take it to an extreme and sleep till 5 in the evening. You don't have to do that, but hey, whatever works for you. But tell them, look, I'm going to be awake at this time. Is there any way we can do a meeting at that time? And who knows, maybe they'll actually work with you and be able to go around your schedule a little bit. They have to understand it's not the same as working day shift. So now that you got that nice full rest and you're about to go into work, when you wake up, nothing better than that first cup of coffee. Believe it or not, you actually want to keep your coffee to a minimum. You want it to be able to work when you need it. Unlike the 3 pots of coffee that I typically drink at night, but that's just me. I don't drink it to wake up. I drink it because I like coffee. Um, but if you're one of those who actually need a cup of coffee to wake up, use it. Try not to get up to 3 pots a day. It's not good for you. Your heart does have a shelf life, and eventually that won't help you. You want to eat a nice balanced diet. You want to eat every day. You want to eat before you go to work. Have dinner just like anybody else would. Granted, it's our breakfast. But you wake up for a little bit, you have your dinner, you get ready for work, and then you go in. At least now you're set up. You have sleep. You have food. You're going to have that energy you need. You have that nice cup of coffee with you. But please stay away from some of these other products that might have a little too much. You know what I mean? You might have wings, but that makes a crash. And you can't just sit there and drink a Red Bull every hour. Nothing against Red Bull. I love my Red Bull. On bad days, that really does help out. But again, your heart has a shelf life. Your best bet is to get into a routine. You want to eat a nice balanced diet and all that other healthy stuff that everybody always told you over the years. And you want to make sure you get your rest. Now, we have some safety concerns with night shift too, especially for those of you that drive, like I do. I can have to drive at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and if I don't get my sleep before I come in, I know I'm dangerous. If you ever get into the situation where you are that tired, do not drive. If you have a partner or somebody else that can drive, have them drive. There is no sense risking your life and everybody else's because you didn't get the proper sleep or because you're just overwhelmingly tired that night. And there's no reason to you just don't want to take down that road. You don't want to end up you will go to jail. It is neglect. It is uh, operating a vehicle when you're too tired. It's pretty much the same as a DUI or a DWI or one of those. I know one of the officers that are probably listening to this are going to freak out about that. I don't know which one it is, but I know it's bad. I know you don't want to lose your license. You don't want to go to jail. Nobody wants that. I doubt they're going to let you sleep very well during the daytime there. But let's not have to worry about that because you're going to do the right thing. You're going to drink your coffee, you're going to sleep, and you're going to eat correctly. So, other things that you can do during the night shift to help keep yourself awake, you can draw pictures of your day shifters. I mean, I'd like to do that, but you got to make sure if you draw pictures of your day shifters and you put little funny hats on them and make caricatures, that you don't make it insulting or you hide it really well. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's just something you can do. But now, back to what pretty much started all this up and where the Night Walkers are going from here. We were doing quite well on our little page, and then Facebook decided to change their stuff up. So now they want us to pay a large sum of money to try to get the people that actually follow us to see what we're putting up. And we put a lot of work into this. So what we're doing now is we actually opened up a group called TNW's Immortal. You're able to find that on Facebook. All you got to do is go right in there in your little chat, or not your chat, your little search box. Type TNW's Immortal dash It's a Night Shift Thing, and you'll find us. Hit the join button. We'll bring you in. You become one of us. We have a really helpful community. I've got a couple admin to help me out, and pretty much there is somebody there for you all the time. If you're bored, if you're tired, if you really need somebody to talk to, there's always somebody that's around. You're never quite alone. And you know what? You can run off the mouth about supervision or whatever you want to do and vent. You know it's not going to go nowhere because it's a closed group. Nobody can see inside unless they're a member, and you're welcome to become a member. So here it is, the day after. Actually, it is 1:40 in the morning right now on Saturday, day after Black Friday, the day of insanity. If you people went out during Black Friday, you are more tolerant and braver than I am because there is no way I am not going to go rushing through a store trying to find something that probably doesn't even, it's probably not even there anymore just to get $1 or two off. It's insanity. Go online, order this stuff. It exists. We have this technology now. And while we're talking about shopping, guys, there is so much made in Japan and China, all those other countries right now for cheaper than what we can make it here in the US. If you're in the US and you care to try to make our economy any better, buy American. I mean, think about it. Your mom and pop shops, your little businesses on the corner that make this or that, they don't get the sales that other big corporations do, and they can't do it at a price that you can get it for 5-year-olds making it over in China or whatever the case may be. So it might be a little bit more expensive, but you know what? The quality is going to be better. And you're going to be supporting your local neighborhood. You put your money into your neighborhood, they put their money back into the neighborhood. It stays there. You can fix your economy. And you can actually help the people that you know survive. And that's what it's all about anymore. It's about survival. And you think about it, nobody really works a 40-hour week anymore. No, you do what your schedule time is, and then you either get a second job or you work 3,000 hours of overtime every 2 weeks, and you're not exactly living life anymore. You're just trying to survive. One of the common ways I put it is you work to work. You got to pay for your car insurance, your cell phones, and all these other bills that we didn't have 20 years ago. And now it's just a matter of it's going to happen. You're going to have to work until pretty much you die. The way we're going, because who's getting ahead? Every time you finally get ahead, of course, your $400 or $500 computer that you hold in your hand, called a cell phone these days, breaks, or your vehicle breaks, and God forbid they're made to where you can't work on them anymore. You try to change an alternator in some of these cars, you got to take the fender and the tailpipe off. It makes no sense. I, it's just the society we live in these days. It's the situation that we have. So we have to try to balance everything out. If you're working 80 hours a week and you have a family, you're not really seeing your family that much now, are you? No, and with night shift, that's even worse because hopefully, if your kids are school age, you're lucky enough to where you can sleep when they're in school. But if not, if you're one of the people that have to sleep till 5 p.m. because that's what you need to get through the night, you're not seeing your family. And then if you work 3 days in a row, you're going to do sleep work, sleep work, sleep work, and then you come home at 7 in the morning and you've got to go back to sleep again. So you end up losing more days than you do anything working night shift. But it's something that we do. Somebody's got to do it. Sometimes it may be the only thing that's open, so we go ahead and work it. And then you end up like me, you get on it and you realize, you know what, this is really for me. I've never been one of those people to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go, oh yeah, I can't wait to get to work. No. If I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you can be guaranteed that I'm still up from the night before. Because anybody that goes to bed on the same day that they wake up is a quitter. You gotta as night shifters, you got to have a little bit of a flexibility because you know when you go do all these crazy things outside of work, it's going to kill your schedule. But remember, it is your responsibility. I think I'm about ready for another cup of coffee, guys. So now that we got this out of the way, we got our first podcast here started. I'm going to see if it goes anywhere. I might do. Actually, right now I'm thinking I might do one a week. So if you go ahead and subscribe or come check in on me, check in on the page on the group. Every time I do one, I'm going to go ahead and post it up for everybody. And I'll take your suggestions. We can start getting this set up to cover some topics that you guys want to hear. We can cover some tips. Maybe one of these days I'll have you guys call in if you'd like, and we can do a little question answer time period thing. Hopefully we'll be running some more promotional things here coming up soon. Maybe we'll do a giveaway, and we might start doing a couple shirts or something like that again. That's all in time. For right now, we're just going to try to get comfortable here on the podcast and see if I can't get some people actually interested in this. All right, so for now, I'm going to bid you guys good night, and I hope your shift goes well. Remember, in the morning, take your time going home and actually go to bed. All right, I'm actually going to be having my Thanksgiving tomorrow, so I'm going to be going to bed shortly and waking up at 10 a.m. So if anybody actually talks to me and I bite your head off, you understand why. I don't want to be up that early, but hey, somebody's got to stuff the turkey. So I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I know the holidays get rough for some people, but we're going to stick this out together and we'll be able to help each other out. Alright, so this is me signing off, guys. And girls, I love yous all. Behave. And remember, it's time to go nocturnal.